Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch One. Thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Lange Sohne Langematik Perpetual. You can see this white gold perpetual calendar on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of this screen at any time to go to our full listing for this watch with photos and complete pricing details. You can also click on the link to our website in the description field below. Now, on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this watch is an outstanding fit. Now, 38.5 millimeters across the round of the case, not including the crown. It's also quite slim in profile, being only 10.5 millimeters thick thanks to the integrated 3/4 rotor winding system with a generously sloped sort of domed bezel in white gold. It easily slides underneath any kind of tight sleeve or dress cuff, and from lug to lug it has nice tidy dimensions. 47 millimeters. It traces the arc of your wrist so it doesn't get lost on a larger wrist, but at the same time it's not going to overwhelm a smaller wrist. I would say down to perhaps 14, even 13.5 millimeters, you're going to be able to wear this one securely on the wrist. Now, the white gold of this watch does give it a nice premium precious metal pull. It's not as heavy as the platinum variants, but many would say that the black dial white gold version trades a little bit of the physical mass of the platinum version for more visual impact, and I would agree with that. Now, the strap itself is a very stylish unit, monotone stitched. You can also see how it has a little bit of taper built into it on both sides, so it has a nice quality of falling away and pairing its visual mass as it moves away from the case. It's also lightly bolstered, and it has a little bit of a pronounced flare as it approaches the lugs. Not a ton, just a little bit. Very supple. There's a calfskin on the bottom. It is alligator leather on the top for a formal look rectangular scale, and it's matched to an exceptionally high quality white gold Lange branded pin buckle. Now, you can see from the side, this one's actually a fairly complex case with some faceted edges, some polished edges, and a unique bar within it that actually retains the strap so that it doesn't become so tightly pinned against the pin buckle that if you have a smaller wrist and you pull the strap tighter, it becomes impossible to loosen it. So even this seemingly mundane component is thoughtfully engineered by the artisans at Lange. But the watch itself is defined by its perpetual calendar caliber. This is the Saxomat, the 922.1, and it expresses its perpetual calendar functions in a beautifully balanced dial. Now, this one, as I mentioned, pops a little bit more visually than the silver dial of the platinum version. That one is gorgeous and possesses the same balance, but it's the contrast between the sub-register print, the applied white gold Roman numerals, those gorgeous lightly loomed alpha hands at center, and the printed railroad minute track around the outer circumference. The definition is just sharper, and in my opinion, the effect is more dramatic. Now, you can see everything from the danger zone indicator, your 24-hour scale, which is set within the day of the week indication at 9 o'clock, to the solid gold moon phase disc present at 6. You can actually see that the 122-year moon phase is just beneath the seconds track. So you have the smallest unit of time measured by this watch, the seconds, and the longest unit of time, the 122 years of the moon phase disc, in the same sub-register. Thoughtful juxtaposition by Lange. Now, you also have a leap year cycle indicator just beneath the month subdial at 3 o'clock. There is a little bit of a step to the hour track, and you can see that the Roman numerals are raised just a bit above the center dial, and there's a gorgeous white gold frame of the high contrast double-digit date, the Panorama datum, that defines the Lange brand. Now, the watch itself is propelled by a movement that's up to the sense of occasion and the artistry of this dial, and that is the Saxomat. The Langematik has a Saxomat caliber. Work on this started in 1992, so the idea of having an automatic winding Lange was part of the original vision of the brand, and yet even today, automatic winding Lange movements are decidedly rare. Most of the watches they produce are hand wound, so to have one that's an automatic winder and a perpetual calendar to boot is quite an occasion. Now, even the winding system itself is unique to the manufacturer. It's what they call a 3/4 rotor, but like every micro rotor, it's set in the same plane as the other bridges, so it doesn't add any thickness to the watch the way a center rotor does, overlapping the entire bridge arrangement, and it's uniquely set up with a platinum winding mass. So if you're going to have a smaller rotor, longer reasons you should have a more efficient winding system with a more dense metal at the outer circumference of the winding wheel. Now, everything about the movement's beautifully finished. It is a 43 ruby or 43 synthetic jewel movement. It does feature a 45-hour power reserve, which is less of a concern because the watch automatically winds itself, but it is immensely complex with 478 parts. Now, all the Lange styling themes are present. You can see the untreated nickel copper or German silver bridges. That's what gives them the golden tone. That's the copper in the alloy. You can also see the tight and even perlage across the base plate, as well as the track of the micro rotor. And there's a gorgeous black polished swan's neck regulator atop a hand-engraved balance cock. Likewise, the escape wheel cock has a black polished cap. It's a beautiful presentation of a fantastic mechanism, but perhaps its most thoughtful measure is actually a mechanical one that's best expressed when the watch is synchronized to a known accurate reference time, and that is the zero reset function. You'll notice the second subdial at 6 o'clock doesn't just hack and stop when you synchronize the watch. It actually resets itself precisely to the index. So you can set this watch, a perpetual calendar that measures immense time scales, precisely to the second. But that is Lange. Beautiful attention to detail in terms of artistry, case finish, dial design, movement engineering, and of course, thoughtful engineering refinements. You can see this Lange Sohne Langematik Perpetual in white gold on our website, watchyouwant.com.